All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're going to explore a globally famous concept that, honestly, it might just completely change how you view your entire life's purpose. If you spend any time at all online looking for career advice or personal development, you've undoubtedly bumped into the Japanese concept of Ikigai. It's usually translated as your reason for being, or, the reason you get out of bed in the morning. But what if I told you that almost everything the Western world believes about this ancient Japanese philosophy is based on a massive misunderstanding? Seriously, today we're going to untangle the myth from the reality, look at the actual cultural origins of Ikigai, and then figure out how we can use both the authentic philosophy and the Western framework to completely redesign our lives.
You know that famous four-circle Venn diagram you've probably seen everywhere online? Well, brace yourself, because it's actually not Japanese, and it is definitely not true Ikigai. Take a good look at it. It tells you that your Ikigai is this magical, elusive center point where what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for all perfectly intersect. The big misconception being pushed here is that you can only achieve true happiness if you meet all four of these strict conditions. But get this, if you were to show this exact diagram to a native Japanese person, they wouldn't recognize it at all. They just don't use grandiose corporate frameworks to find their reason for being.
So where did it come from? It's actually the result of a massive, serendipitous historical accident. It's kind of wild, right? An entire internet self-help industry built on a literal mistranslation. Full credit for that four-circle diagram actually belongs to a Spanish author and psychological astrologer named Andres Zuzunaga. He created it back in 2011 simply as a purpose diagram. But then in 2014, an entrepreneur named Mark Wynn watched a TED Talk about longevity, wrote a blog post, and essentially just swapped the word purpose with Ikigai right in the center of Zuzunaga's translated diagram. That one altered image went totally viral, completely shifting the global understanding of a really nuanced Japanese cultural trait into a westernized checklist for entrepreneurs.
So the real kicker here is the stark contrast between our Western obsession with grand, money-making career goals and the authentic Japanese philosophy of finding joy in everyday routines. The westernized version creates this illusion that your life's meaning absolutely must be some lofty, world-changing goal. But authentic Ikigai, it's actually the exact opposite. It has absolutely nothing to do with making money or professional success. You don't need to be highly skilled, and you certainly aren't out to save the world. True Ikigai lives in the realm of community, family, daily rituals, and just simple personal growth. There's this great quote from Osaka University's Noriyuki Nakanishi that hits the nail on the head. He points out that you do not need to save the world or be rich to have Ikigai. Instead, it's a deeply personal feeling of being alive right now. It reflects your inner self faithfully and establishes this unique mental world where you can just feel at ease. In Japan, Ikigai flourishes when you appreciate small moments. Things like the cool morning air, the warmth of a cup of coffee, or the touch of sunlight on your face. It's a profoundly democratic concept, really, because success isn't a prerequisite to accessing it. It's available to anyone, at literally any time, regardless of their circumstances. To bring this down to earth and ground the philosophy in accessible, daily actions, neuroscientist Ken Mogi outlines 5 authentic pillars of Ikigai. And look, unlike that Western diagram, these pillars aren't demanding that you monetize your hobbies. Instead, they ask you to just start small. Maybe that means waking up early and engaging in some physical activity, like the collective morning radio calisthenics that so many Japanese people participate in. It's all about releasing yourself from ego, seeking harmony with your environment, finding joy in tiny details, and simply being fully present in the current moment.
Psychologists in Japan, like Akihiro Hasegawa, view Ikigai totally differently than we do in the West. It's not a job hunt. It's more like a cognitive hub that merges the object of your focus with the pure feeling of existence. So think of it like an equation. On the left side, you have the objects of your Ikigai, your past memories, your present hobbies, your family, or even your imagination of the future. On the right, you have the feelings of Ikigai, that sense of fulfillment, motivation, and self-realization. And the self? Well, that acts as the agent right in the middle, combining an object with a feeling to create a sense of being alive right now. It's a mental process, not a career blueprint.
This brings us to a really fascinating concept called kodawari. Think about those Japanese farmers who grow a $100 perfectly ripe mango literally just to see it peeled and eaten. It's an unwavering dedication to quality that pushes way beyond any reasonable market expectation. And it perfectly embodies that very first pillar of Ikigai, starting small. You see, the farmer growing that perfect mango isn't doing it just to get rich. They're doing it out of a deep reverence for the transient, fleeting beauty of life. They pursue continuous improvement simply for the joy of the effort itself. And this flows right into the second pillar, releasing oneself. By embracing what psychiatrist Mieko Kamiya called the negation of the self, you basically stop stressing about your professional title and simply let yourself get lost in the flow of a sensory experience. Take the traditional 16th century tea ceremony, for example. It's founded on this beautiful idea of one time, one encounter. Inside the tea room, humility prevails. There's no merit system. The master and the guests said all their social identities just to enjoy the serene beauty, the sensory details of the ceramics, and the shared, mindful bliss of the present moment. This kind of humble dedication perfectly mirrors the third pillar, harmony and sustainability. Take the cyclical rebuilding of the Ise shrine, for example. Every 2 decades, the shrine is meticulously dismantled and completely rebuilt using freshly sourced wood. Now you might ask, why go through all that trouble? To pass down the art and expertise of shrine building from one generation of carpenters to the next. The Japanese approach to Ikigai balances individual desires with societal well-being. It pursues goals in a subdued, sustained manner. It reminds us that our Ikigai thrives collectively when we actually respect others and consider our long-term impact on the world. So, what's the ultimate secret of Ikigai? Honestly, it's self-acceptance. It's letting go of this exhausting illusion that you need some grand destiny, which, as it turns out, is a totally free, maintenance-free formula for genuine happiness. Often we trick ourselves into believing that to be truly happy, we have to attain a specific job, massive wealth, or high social status. But accepting yourself exactly as you are, without some illusory self-image to live up to, is the real key. You already have your Ikigai. You just have to give yourself the time and space to recognize it. All right, let's pivot back to that famous Venn diagram by Andre Suzunaga for a second. Just because it isn't true Ikigai doesn't mean we should just toss it in the trash. It's actually a brilliant tool for designing your career. If this framework inspires you, if it motivates you and gives you a sense of direction for your professional life, then absolutely use it. It is a very accurate visual representation of entrepreneurship and finding a balanced working life. So for the rest of this explainer, let's put our entrepreneurial hats on and walk through exactly how to use this Western purpose framework in a practical way.
Let's start with discovering your passion by focusing on the what you love circle of the Western framework. This step is all about reconnecting with your past and noticing what sparks joy for you today. Think back to your childhood. What did you enjoy doing that never left you feeling bored? Or looking at your life right now, what topics do you find yourself talking about most enthusiastically? Identifying what you truly love is the absolute first building block of finding a career path that won't just leave you feeling burned out and empty after a couple of years. Try asking yourself this exact question. It's designed to uncover those moments when you are completely in flow and just totally lose track of time, even if you aren't getting paid a dime for it. This is such a critical thought experiment. Being in flow simply means entering a state where external recognition just doesn't matter anymore, because doing the work itself is a deeply joyous connection. If you can pinpoint the tasks or projects that naturally pull you into this highly focused, effortless state, well, you've just found the very core of your passion. Moving on, we have the what you are good at circle. This is all about your unique skills and mastery. Now, we all have things that just come naturally to us, but sometimes we overlook them because they feel almost too easy. To figure this out, look at the evidence around you. If you could choose just 2 parts of your current role to keep, which would they be? What accomplishments are you most proud of? And maybe, most importantly, how do you naturally continue to develop your skills to stay current? Think about the problems you naturally solve. You know, the things people are constantly bugging you for help with? That is a phenomenal way to identify your core strengths. If your friends or colleagues are always coming to you to mediate a conflict, fix a weird tech issue, or organize a chaotic project, that is a massive flashing neon sign pointing directly toward what you are good at. You don't have to be the absolute best in the world at it either. Just recognizing your natural aptitude is how you turn a mere passion into a viable profession. To bring this whole Western purpose framework together, you've got to merge the final 2 circles. It's about finding exactly where your desire to help society overlaps with, well, a viable long-term way to actually pay the bills. You have to ask yourself, what issues you're deeply passionate about where you can actually make an impact? And then you've got to ground that in reality. Are there high-demand jobs that align with these interests? Can you make a decent living doing this work long-term? This might mean seeking out a very specific corporate environment, or, hey, it might push you to start your own business to fill a gap in the market. So, to wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. By all means, use that Western framework to boldly build your career, but never forget to pause and appreciate the small, beautiful moments that make up your true Ikigai. You really don't have to wait until you have a perfect, world-changing career to feel fulfilled.
You can strive for professional success using that Venn diagram while simultaneously experiencing authentic Ikigai right here, right now, in your morning routine, in the warmth of your community, and in the quiet acceptance of exactly who you are. So as you go about your day today, ask yourself, amidst all the striving and hustling, what small, simple joy will be your reason to live today?